Hey guys, StandardVR back with some Pokemon news. If you want to stay up to date with Legends ZA DLC Mega Dimensions news and battles with the new Mons and the new Megas and just having a good chill time, definitely drop a sub, drop a like, drop a comment. Let me know what Megas you are excited to use on the ranked ladder. Today we are going to talk about a really cool one. This one is going to be your Season 4 ranked rewards in the Baxcalibur to get that Mega Baxcalibur. So just like in the past seasons, you're probably just going to have to play a couple games to get the Baxcalibur and to get that Mega Baxcalibur, that Mega Ice Godzilla. You know what I'm saying? Usually, it's not too hard to get up to the ranking to get the Mega Stones. They haven't been too tenuous in the past, except for the first season was a little bit high for some newcomers. But that's all you got to do to get the Baxcalibur. We're going to see if some of the new Megas you might be able to buy like in-game. But that's all that we know for now. So we're going to do a little bit of team building with Baxcalibur. Now, we don't have the Mega Baxcalibur stats as of yet, but that's not going to stop us from trying to put together a team, because Mega Baxcalibur, depending on what stat spread is, may also be something like Garchomp that you kind of want to run like a Berry, you know, to stop Metagrosses type thing, or like just a Focus Sash, just something to just mitigate damage instead of, you know, running the Mega, because I feel like this is going to get Garchomp treatment in way of stat spread. It's going to be a boost to attack. It might get a little bit bulkier. It might end up getting a little bit slower, which is why we're not even going to touch speed tiers in this video, because we don't know where those are going to land, because Mega Garchomp does get slower than regular Garchomp, which is a little bit of a detriment. Not so much in Legends ZA, but it's a thing. So we're not going to talk speed stats right now, but we are going to talk a little bit of team building with this Baxcalibur and Baxcalibur right. So I'm going to assume you're going to run this thing a little bit kind of like a Garchomp, because that's kind of what it is. It does have, you know, the 115 HP, the 145 attack. It's 87 is fast enough, especially for this game. Like, speed doesn't really matter. 92 and 86 on the defense and SpDef is okay. It's kind of middling. But again, this massive 145 attack is absolutely insane. And I'm assuming it's going to skyrocket with the Mega, because like Feraligatr got to like base 160. Like, it's absolutely crazy. So obviously this thing's probably going to be running a Mega Stone, but you're going to Swords Dance, Earthquake for coverage, Icicle Crash, and Outrage. This may end up being Glaive Rush, depending on how this move actually works in-game in actual mainline. Well, I mean, Legends ZA is a mainline game, but in past games that Baxcalibur has been in, this move makes the user take 2 times damage until they move again. It'll be very interesting to see if this actually works the same in Legends ZA, because like you can kind of fire off a move a little bit faster, but we'll see. Bulky Waters can give Baxcalibur a little bit of a hard time. Doesn't really have a good way of hitting it other than like Earthquakes, like Gyarados. I mean, Icicle Crash is neutral. It does get Thunderfang all the way down here if you really wanted to run Thunderfang, but I feel like it'd really be beneficial just to kind of run electric coverage if you're worried about that. So over in the damage calculator, we do have a Garchomp set up here, and we just changed its secondary typing to Ice, and we inputted the Baxcalibur stats. So we'll go ahead and we're going to put our moves in here, which we got that Earthquake, which I'm assuming it's still going to get. We're going to put Icicle Crash. And all of this is contingent on it still getting these moves, which it should. So some notable calcs that you're going to want to have is you're going to have some Garchomp calcs. Garchomp is a bit of a menace. So as you can see, Icicle Crash, just uninvested, does get that KO. Outrage does not. So we're going to assume most Garchomp spreads 252. Let's just go 252, 252 if you want. If you want to do that, great. And they're probably adamant, right? And they're probably running Dragon Rush, which actually I should check to see if... Does Baxcalibur get Dragon Rush? I kind of forget that move exists, to be honest. Doesn't look like it does. We'll sort this by Dragon. Glaive Rush. Does get Dragon Rush. Alright, we'll put Dragon Rush in here instead of Outrage. It's probably better. So we're going to put Dragon Rush. So this is... But again, you're going to be wanting to hit this guy with the Icicle Crash. You might even tech Ice Shard, which might be neat to see like exactly what the damage calcs are on that as we do this. So if we want to run a standard Baxcalibur, we're going to just go, you know, 252. Oops. That's 145. Not 255. And we're going to 252. Adamant. That's probably going to be your standard dragon set that everybody's going to be running. at the beginning. So Dragon Rush, as you can see, already does not get the KO with Garchomp. Same over here. We do a little bit more because we got 15 more attack points, which is really nice. So we're never getting a KO on your standard 252 Chomp, which most Chomps are going to be high HP. Icicle Crash, though, does get that KO. So let's say Chomps start to run a little bit more defensive because there's a Baxcalibur. Icicle Crash is still getting that KO, which is absolutely ridiculous. So what we want to actually see is with the Swords Dance boost, this Earthquake on Metagross, this is actually a very important calc. So with the Swords Dance boost, this never gets a KO, so we actually don't even need that much in attack, I don't think. Because like even right here, this is still a 2-shot. Well, I mean, we haven't put any defense investments. Let's say 252. And let's go full Rocky Helmet Metagross. So with the attack, how much do we need to guarantee a 2-shot? Alright, yeah, 2-shot on Metagross. Obviously, it's a little weirder to get 2 shots because, you know, you do need full. But so let's go ahead and put Heavy Slam because that's the normally. So that's always getting a 2-shot unless you wanted to put more in defense. So I really think this guy is just going to kind of be an HP attack kind of guy. Again, if you're really worried about it, you'd run like a Babiri Berry instead of a Mega Stone. But yeah, Earthquake is 2-shot with the boost. Obviously, if this guy has defense investment, it gets really dicey. But that's kind of just how you're going to have to deal with it. Again, a Garchomp is always getting clocked by those ice moves. If they're Yachi Berry, let's see, 252. Yachi. All right. So if they have a Yachi Berry, they do live. Like, but it's still a roll. So you would still need quite a bit of defense investment. So I really do think that even just for this roll right here, like that 25% to just OHKO through a Yachi Berry is kind of insane. So I'm honestly just going to run this, especially if this thing gets an attack boost. Like those Garchomps are just gone. So we could look at things like an Excadrill, who's going to be running Iron Head. We saw that Heavy Slam doesn't really ever pick up. Iron Head from Excadrill. So 252 Adamant. Where's my Adamant? There's my Adamant. 252 Adamant. Let's say it's got a Swords Dance boost. Still not picking up a KO because this thing is so bulky with such a high base HP. It's ridiculous. So this Earthquake still picks up. So what you could even do if you really wanted to optimize this a little bit is you could take this down to, let's see where we're at. Okay. So if we have a max HP, max defense. Yeah, you still want, see, I'm telling you, the optimal spread for this thing is just going to be a 252 set. And again, you need that Swords Dance boost to get those KOs. You're also really going to want to hope that this thing gets an attack boost if you're running Mega, which I think it will. But I think that's going to be an optimal set. I mean, you could even go into Gyarados's. This is a 252. You see Icicle Crash, still a 2-shot. Icicle Crash into Dragon Rush is a 2-shot. Ice Fang doesn't do nothing. Waterfall, all this stuff. Bounce does a decent chunk. But I really think Baxcalibur is going to be the new meta Garchomp coming into the further seasons as we get on down the road. Because this thing is absolutely ridiculous. Like, Ice being neutral is so good for this thing. So, let's get into a little bit of a team builder. So we know we're running ground, we're running ice, we're running dragon, because I feel like it's 3 biggest moves. What you're going to want, again, if you're worried about Metagrosses, maybe you run a Metagross yourself. I really think you're going to want, a ground type. I mean, that's just kind of how it goes. Maybe you run Zygarde if it's legal. I actually really like Excadrill with this thing, but then you're kind of getting into a fighting weakness. But like, what fighting moves are really running around? I know that Heracross has still been seeing some play, so I think like a Sash Excadrill could be really cool. You just run Focus Sash and just your Swords Dance, your Rock Slide, like your standard Excadrill set. You've seen it, you love it. Not Iron Defense, Iron Head. And just your Earthquake, or I guess Drill Run if you want to have a homing move. So, you know. And then, so you have a bit of a fighting weakness here. You could go a Ghost type if you really wanted to. You can go a Chandelier, go Gengar. I really still think that, like, this is just kind of like my favorite mon in the game. Like, Gyarados is so good. You could go Mega Gyarados. You could go Walking Berry. With the Excadrill, I'd probably just go Mega, to be honest. Just the Gyarados type. And I would just, you know, run your standard bounce. You know what? And you'd probably run on this kind of thing. Because the issue is here, though, you're getting a little bit... not really flying weak. I guess you're fine. But yeah, I just run your bounce, your Earthquake. I'd run your Crunch, because there's still Mewtwo's around. And then just your Waterfall. Right? Or Liquidation. Well, yeah, Waterfall. And then you're just going to run... You know, if you want to run your bulky stuff, you can. If you want to, like this, I'm just doing this because we're Sash, we're going Adamant. Again, we could do our speed calcs if we really wanted to into Excadrill. We could do our speed calcs for Gyarados if we really wanted to. Excuse me. But this is kind of the Mega Bax video. So, it's got a weird speed tier at 87. So if we really wanted to sort these things by speed and go down and see where 87 is, see if there's anything, like Excadrill is 88, so that is like the closest that you can kind of get. So we could look at Pokeos, we could look at Excadrill, not Ivysaur. That's not going to help us. We look at Excadrill, who's 1 point faster. And we look at some of the moves that it gets. Like Earthquake. Dragon Rush has a pretty long cooldown. Icicle Crash, I'm going to assume, has a pretty long cooldown. If it gets something like Brick Break, we can check that. But let's just look at these two, because these are your 7-second and your 4-second cooldowns, right? So we already know what speed tier is, somewhere around there. So if we go max investment on speed, we do get Brick Break down to 3 seconds. Where is... So we would have to go pretty heavy investment. And I really think that Baxcalibur is kind of going to be more of just your heavy hitter, like a Garchomp, like a Gyarados. Like, you had to go 212 speed, and the Baxcalibur, excuse me, is a little bit 1 point slower than the Excadrill, so you'd have to go even more speed to get that 3-second cooldown on any of its 7-second base cooldown moves, which I'm not even sure if it gets. Like, again, you're going to want to run Dragon Rush, you're going to want to run Earthquake, and you're going to run Icicle Crash, which are all heavier investments. You can get it to 6 seconds for the Earthquake if you really wanted to, which is a big 4-second cooldown from its base, which is a lot, but I just don't think it's worth it for something like Baxcalibur. I think you just want to come in and hit as hard as possible and go to town. Same way with the Sash Excadrill, I'm just running full HP, full attack. And Gyarados, we know, is 81. So I would run this kind of bulky, you know what I mean? Just 252, 252. And that's kind of how Baxcalibur is going to be built. You're going to have to worry about fighting types. You're going to have to worry about steel types. Metagross is going to be an issue. But I think Baxcalibur, especially with the right defensive tools, like with a Gyarados, you could even... What other flying types we got in this game? And this actually isn't even... You can even go Dragonite if you really want to. If you want to get real cheeky. Skarmory actually would be absolutely ridiculous with this thing. If like you could pair... Like you could get rid of these two, right? And Skarmory kind of fills the role of those two. And now you still have a Mon. So you're a little weak to fire. So this is where you put in like your bulky water. And you could go... I mean, you could go Gyarados. But like I really like a Vaporeon here, I think would be absolutely choice. Like this core looks absolutely insane. Again, a little fighting weak. This thing Brave Birds things and like fighting is neutral, so it's not too bad. But I think this is a decent core for Baxcalibur, because like here you'd run your standard Scarm set with like Drill Run, right? That's what gets Drill Run. You can run Drill Peck over Brave Bird, but I like Brave Bird because it's a fast-paced game, and you know your SD. And what is the last move that you would put in here? I don't think I've ever ran a Scarm, so I'm not even too sure. But either way, you can run Agility. Either way, you guys know what this is. This is just a Calm Mind, Hydro Surf into Ice Beam. And this is a very good hyper-offensive kind of defensive core because you got the big stats in Mega Baxcalibur. You got the defensive synergy in Skarmory with the ridiculous defenses that Mega Skarmory has because this thing is just absolutely stupid. And then the Vaporeon, which, you know, lives all day, every day. You would have a little bit of an issue with Glaceon with this team, which is why I would probably recommend. I like Excadrill Gyarados, to be fair, but that's kind of like my comfort pick. But Skarmory Vaporeon also works very well with Mega Baxcalibur. But guys, let me know if you've made it this far in the video. Let me know if you're excited to use Mega Baxcalibur and any sets that you want to run. And let me know what that stat spread is when it finally gets released. Guys, if you've made it this far in the video, drop a sub, drop a like, drop a comment, and as always, have a great day. Peace.